This week on Take a Look, love is packed, boarded, and slightly delayed.
Hi.
Hi.
From the best-selling novel that lived on nightstands, beach bags, and every group text recommendation comes Netflix's most anticipated romantic comedy, People We Meet on Vacation.
Oh my God.
It's about timing, bad decisions, and that one person who somehow knows you better than anyone else.
How did you know that I'd really want to do that?
Because I know you.
Based on the beloved novel by Emily Henry, and yes, we're talking to her in person about bringing the story to life. This is the tale of two friends who take one vacation every year and spend the rest of their time pretending they're just friends.
What a coincidence. We just got hitched too.
Starring Tom Blythe and Emily Bader. Their chemistry turns missed chances into emotional landmines, and every trip into a reckoning.
What was that?
I'm just confused.
What am I to you?
It's flirty, it's sharp, and it understands that sometimes the scariest leap isn't falling in love, it's admitting that you already did.
Are you guys like a thing?
Oh no, we're just friends. Platonic, travel companions.
Set against sun-drenched destinations, late-night confessions, and years of almosts. This film pretends love isn't about grand gestures, it's about showing up when it finally counts.
I was not expecting to see you. Yet.
If you've ever fallen in love with your best friend, or realized the right person was there all along, this one hits home.
That's a very specific hypothetical.
A smart, modern rom-com with heart, humor, and just enough ache. We're going behind the scenes of People We Meet on Vacation, now streaming on Netflix. And trust us, you're gonna wanna take a look! Yeah, that's right. Welcome to our half-hour special dedicated to all things People We Meet on Vacation. We are in New Orleans on this rainy day, and I don't mind that it's raining because one of the most beautiful scenes in this movie happens in the rain. This movie is going to live rent-free in your head forever. If you love classics from last century like You've Got Mail or When Harry Met Sally, you're going to love this movie. Exclusively on Netflix. The movie wouldn't work if not for the charm of its two leads. I caught up with Tom and Emily to talk about bringing Poppy and Alex to life. Take a look.
And if you do me right, then I'ma do right by you. And if you keep it tight, then I'ma confide in you. And then a dine to buy and about to dine you if you hang with.
Hi.
Hi.
Alex. I was not expecting to see you. Yet.
Yeah, I just landed. You were singing pretty loud.
Yeah, my bag came out first, and that never happens.
Huh. Cool.
Snapshot of this, I might not necessarily be the target demo from this movie. I don't know I've ever loved a movie more than this. It's so good.
Wow.
Really?
That's cool. That's cool to hear. Thank you.
I got to sit in a very special audience, and when the director came up and said, hey, we are making rom-com cinematic again. I thought, well, I don't exactly know what he means. And then moments into the film, I go, this is what he's talking about. Talk about how it reinvents. This launches this century's rom-com.
Oh, that's so
Oh
cool.
my gosh, that's
Very cool.
very nice
Yeah.
of you to say.
I mean, I used to think of rom-coms a certain way. Like, I used to think they were cheesy and not cool. And like, as a cinephile, I was like, oh, it's not cool to like rom-coms. And then someone years ago showed me When Harry Met Sally. And I was like, oh, I get it now. And then I went back and I revisited a bunch of them, like Sleepless in Seattle and like all the classics. You Got Mail, like all those great ones. And then I fell in love with the genre, and I was like, oh, if you do it right, it can be an amazing experience. And so I was just like, I hope we can even somewhat hit that ballpark and do something that's like even somewhat close to those kind of classic rom-com
Yeah, I think when you think
for the modern age.
of the decade in which we sort of was like the peak of rom-coms, like the 90s, early 2000s, you know, it was focused on writing, really good character development, and not everything had to be so gimmicky as far as like what was happening. It was just about people. And I think like going back to, it's just about these two people. It's like, and their lives together is such like a simple way to look at movies, but also like the heart of all of it. I think character is kind of everything. So I think we tried to focus on the character of it.
Sure. And you talk about the writing. You stand on the foundation of a phenomenal book. A lot of pressure, getting it right.
Yeah.
With that, there's so many scenes in this that feel improvisational. Are there moments that you brought that you weren't predicting that happened that lifted the pages even further?
We played quite a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, Brett really would. Sometimes he would just say to me, "Just do some Emily stuff in a scene," and to you too. We would just have fun.
Yeah, there were lots of happy accidents throughout the whole shoot, which have ended up making it into the film. I'm trying to think of anything specific, but like.
So much of New Orleans.
I mean, even our little handshake, like we just came up with that on the fly, which has become like a whole thing, the character thing in the movie. But like that was just something we did one day, and we were like, oh, they should have a handshake. They're best friends, you know?
Yeah.
Stuff like that. Yeah.
So, like, do you know how many people are going to be doing that? It's going to be everywhere. It's going to be everyone's
Thankfully, it's
signature.
very simple.
Yeah, it is.
Right.
We kept it simple. We had to do it a lot. So.
Yeah.
You mentioned When Harry Met Sally and Sleepless in Seattle. So that's of my generation, and so many of those scenes live rent-free in my head.
Me too.
And now so many scenes from this will live rent-free in my head. Predict what you think audiences 10, 20 years from now are going to be talking about or living in their head.
I mean, people are loving the dance sequence.
From this movie.
Yeah.
I think New Orleans, probably the dance.
Yeah.
I think just the costuming is so. We had such an
Your blue wig.
amazing costumes in this movie. And what else do you think would be kind of burrito, perhaps?
Or the burrito in the car, and maybe the big Sasquatch that I'm carrying around. That's kind of.
If they want to make merch for this film, they need to make that. Everybody wants one.
Yeah. We're on them about that. We want to.
I want a Harry.
Everyone should have a Harry.
There you go.
Yeah.
You two, your characters challenged each other relentlessly. What's a quality in your co-star that challenged you or made you up your performance, made your performance better? And by co-stars, I mean
How do I
the ones
challenge you,
before
Emily?
You go first.
What's challenging about me as a person?
You go first.
Ooh, you're really quick. You're really quick, and you're a good improviser. And sometimes I definitely had to like step up to the plate to try and keep up with Emily's. Like, you're funny. You're really funny. And I don't always think of myself as funny necessarily. But I'm not like as quippy as you. I don't think. So I had to work hard to keep up with Emily.
I mean, I was kind of going to say a similar thing. I think you're really good take one, which is.
And then it just goes down.
No, you're good every take. But I mean, like you like right off the bat, like 8 o'clock in the morning, show up.
So not true.
I do too.
I'm take 3. Take 3 gets better for me.
Not from my perspective, but I think it's having. I had to like live up to these scenes with you, and I think you always brought so much every day. So it kept me on my toes for sure.
Well, it's magical, you two. Congratulations on it. 2026 is so awesome, all because of this. Thank you.
That's
Cheers.
just so nice.
They are so charming in real life. Look, I know it's acting, I know it's a job for them, but if there were a real Alex, if there were a real Poppy, Emily and Tom certainly bring them to life better than you could ever imagine anyone else doing it. It all starts with the source, so coming up later in this half-hour special dedicated to all things people we meet on vacation, we'll meet the author, we'll meet the director, and some exclusive behind-the-scenes looks. We'll be back from New Orleans after this. Hey, welcome back to our half-hour special dedicated to all things people we meet on vacation. Yes, we are in New Orleans, and yes, I am an idiot standing in the rain. Want to know why? One of my favorite scenes, in fact, most people who have seen it are saying that the scene in the rain, one of the most romantic scenes ever captured on film of all time. And yes, this rom-com is made for cinema. Someday, I hope they release it in theaters because it needs to be seen large. In the meantime, do check it out. Hey, you want to go on deeper? I've got some behind-the-scenes looks you're not going to see anywhere else. Take a look.
Would we still be friends if we didn't go to the same college?
You mean like after we graduate?
I mean, like, hypothetically, if I didn't go back next semester and I used my tuition to get a terrible apartment in New York, an intern at a magazine, and work on my blog.
That's a very specific hypothetical.
Would I ever see you again?
How about this? Every summer, wherever we are, whatever we're doing, whoever we're with, we meet somewhere in the world for a trip.
Deal.
As you can see, every location's amazing. Yeah, we're in New Orleans, and I'm standing in the rain because it's one of my favorite scenes. Barcelona, also another great location. But the movie would be nothing if not the source material. The book from Emily is brilliant. Coming up next, I'll sit down with both she and the director who brought her words to the big screen and Netflix as this half-hour special dedicated to all things people we meet on vacation continues from New Orleans. We'll be right back. Welcome back to New Orleans and our half-hour special dedicated to all things people we meet on vacation. This is but one of the many locations in it. If you're just tuning in, yes, I'm standing in the rain in a suit because one of my favorite scenes is a big, rainy, romantic moment, but I won't plot spoil that now. Although, how can I plot spoil if you've already read the book? If you haven't read the book, I highly recommend it. Look, the book's not written for people like me, and even I love the book, having seen the movie, and both very true to each other, very artful, very thoughtful. I sat down with Brett, the director who brought Emily's words to life. And Emily, too. Take a look. Good to see you two.
Hello, good to see you.
One of my most joyful moments was being in an audience that got surprised by an appearance by you two and your cast. What's it like on your side?
Oh,
Feeling that love.
that was joyous.
Yeah,
That
it was incredible. Yeah, it was so fun to get to go out first and then get to introduce Emily and see the reaction to that. And then Emily and Tom and I, well, Tom really came up with this idea of how to introduce them, and it was so cute to see everyone's reaction to them. And it's just so nice to see that people are happy with what we've built so far, what we put forth. Like, I think there's so much goodwill in the casting of them and how we've approached Emily's beautiful book in this adaptation. So I think there's just a lot of excitement, and last night really cemented that.
Yeah, I feel like that was one of, actually getting to watch it with that audience was like one of the highlights of my life so far.
Absolutely.
It was really special.
Yeah.
And with that said, is it daunting in that it's not a test screening, so you're probably not going to go cut this up
Right,
after
we're like,
you get a reaction.
hope you liked it.
But to
It's
see
done and done.
everything land.
Yeah.
Everything, to see stuff land and go, wow, all that thought that went into that in crafting that moment to be, that's what you want it to be. You want it to be filled with laughter, tears. We literally got, applause multiple times in the film. That is so fun. So it was so satisfying.
Yeah, it really felt like we were all on a ride together in such a special and unique way. And yeah, there were just interesting sounds being made. Like we each, I think, have our favorite sound that we heard from an audience member.
Definitely.
I think yours was the uh-oh.
Uh-oh was great. Uh-oh was great.
And
That may have been me.
It might have been you.
Yeah, it could
We
be.
heard someone say uh-oh.
I love an uh-oh.
Yeah, and then there was also someone toward the front who just went, oh. And that was my favorite.
It's
The wordless groan.
almost like a horror movie moment where you say,
Yes.
don't do that.
Yeah.
Don't make this mistake
It
again.
means people are invested.
They're
so
feeling things.
When you write the book and when you subsequently make the movie, you can't pick what the audience latches onto or what they
No.
react to.
No.
Was there a scene or moment from the book, now adapted to the movie, that they clamped onto last night that you weren't expecting?
Oh, that's a really good question. I think it's too soon to tell what those surprise sleeper hits are. Did you have one that you were like, oh, they were so like surprisingly excited about this?
It's like you craft some of these bigger set pieces going like, I want them to fully feel this. I think there were longing moments where I could feel the audience leaning in to, we were just talking about how Alex is a longing man. He's a man who's not afraid to long and be, and I think those moments, I was so happy to see that chemistry between Tom and Emily was flying off the screen and that people were swooning and people were invested. And it's sort of a spoiler, but when there's this really sad line, the audience literally went, no.
Yeah.
And I went, wow. I mean, that was a lot.
They're feeling it. They're
They
taking
were
it
feeling
in.
they were invested. And I think that's what you want. And I know that's what Emily wants, is for people to be invested in her characters. That's why her work is so incredible, and why it was so important that we get people invested in these characters in the first Emily Henry adaptation. It was like, that's why her books resonate so much.
Yeah.
So this movie needs to do the same.
The book and these characters and these scenes are pure you. So it's got to be, it's all of you.
Yeah.
But every nuance of that has to be compromised to some degree when
For
you hand it
sure.
off, because casting is not going to be exactly.
Yeah.
With that said, what is the most crystallized moment that is absolutely per mind pixel perfect?
I mean, you know, it's so weird because the Barcelona stuff was all Palm Springs in the book, but it's still the balcony scene is so right. It's so right to the book. If you know, we had the very long director's cut version of the movie. There's more that's just so exactly how it happens in the book. But I also think like getting Molly Shannon to do the scene with the condom box, I was really, really happy that scene made it into the movie, and that felt like better than how it was like what I imagined, but better because I didn't have Molly Shannon in my mind.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so many little beats that Brett found ways to sneak in different places than they are in the book, and there are so many of those that just feel like, even though this looks different, it feels exactly like I hoped it would feel.
Well, you too. It's beautiful. And my second favorite joyful moment was at the end of the movie. You two, typically filmmakers would scurry out and rush out, but you stopped and both turned around and said, thank you to this audience that should be hugging you.
I mean, it was, as Emily said last night, these fans are going to be the torchbearers for not only this film, but for this type of film. For I think that we so desperately want to give people joy. We want people to feel real big feelings, not just fluffy, forget about it, but something that sticks with you. And to feel that love last night was really moving. And I wanted to thank them for just being a part of the thing that we love, you know?
I also think selfishly, I wanted that last look to take it in because it's so easy to not feel the good big moments in your life. And that had been such a magical experience. So just looking back and seeing them one more time was like,
I think someone told me I blew kisses.
Yeah, you did. I also,
because I was just, were you blowing?
I was blowing kisses.
We were just feeling the love. So we just want to spread love.
It's
Thank
amazing,
you.
you guys.
Thank you
so much.
Thank you.
Bye.
Yeah, it's a rare moment getting to see fans meet the people that are bringing them something that they so desired. The fan base ate it up. And now that more audiences have seen it, like check out Rotten Tomatoes. It's testing through the roof. I guarantee you this is a romantic comedy that's going to live on for the rest of this century. Trust me. All right, I'm going to get out of the rain. Look, I see Cafe du Monde over here. As we continue our half-hour special, People We Meet on Vacation from New Orleans, I'm going to take you deeper behind the scenes, clips and scenes you've never seen before. Coming up next, we'll be right back. And welcome back to our half-hour special dedicated to all things people we meet on vacation. All right, we've met the filmmakers, we've met the author, we've met this couple that's going to live rent-free in your head forever. It is one of the best romantic comedies of this century and certainly kicking out 2026 in style. All right, want me to break off a sample? All right, well, I dry off and find a beignet. Let's do it. Take a look.
Alex, come here.
Honey, Alex is here.
Are those condoms?
I just want you to be safe, that's all.
How many times do I have to tell you? Alex and I are just friends, so we don't need condoms. And we definitely don't need 500. Because we're not an army. Please stop. Okay, Wanda?
On vacation, you can be anyone you want.
Who wants to go skinny dipping?
Alex does not.
Maybe vacation Alex does. That's why I want to travel. You can actually be who you want to be instead of who they say you are.
How about every summer, wherever we are, we meet somewhere in the world for a trip?
Deal.
Beignets on the house of the lovebirds.
Thank you.
No.
Hey, what a coincidence. We just got hitched too. So sweet.
Congratulations, you two.
Will you tell me once again?
I told you.
How we're gonna be just friends?
Come on, vacation Alex. Is that the best you got?
Okay, you asked for this.
I guess you can hang with me.
Oh my God.
I'm gonna pick you up on the condition that you don't call me Seabiscuit,
How did you know that I'd really want to do that?
because I know you.
Poppy, you take vacations for a living. Make me burn with jealousy for your carefree, jet-setting life. But I mean, don't you ever find travel a little lonely?
I'm here. I'll always be here.
Sorry.
What was that?
I'm just confused.
What am I to you?
You're my friend.
I do not deserve you.
I know.
My best friend. Alex, I think it's called settling.
You live in a fantasy land, always running away to new places, new connections.
Maybe the universe is giving me a sign.
That's a heck of a girl.
So if you can't tell, there are so many amazing locations in this movie. In addition to New Orleans, you're probably going to want to travel to. In fact, someone right now should start a travel company that just hits destinations from this movie. It is that beautiful. As I dry off, I'm in the world-famous Café du Monde. You're saying, yeah, really? Prove it. Would I be holding authentic Café du Monde beignets? If not, while credits roll, I'm just going to eat this beignet, enjoy this movie exclusively on Netflix and exclusively in your head forever. Jealous? You should be. Just keep those credits rolling. Oh my God. I'm gonna shove every one of these into my beignet hole. Are you still rolling credits? Shouldn't you be done by now? Can a guy eat his beignet in privacy? Peace out.